We do have, the clerk has told me we have quorum. I'm Councillor Paul Ainsley. I'm the Chair of Scarborough Community Council. I'm now calling meeting number 25 to order. Welcome, everybody. Today's meeting is being held by video conference and in person at the Scarborough Civic Center here in the council chamber. This meeting is also being live streamed online at youtube.com/Toronto City Council Live. For the land acknowledgement, I'd like to say on behalf of my colleagues and all of our amazing staff that although we may be meeting in different locations today, Scarborough Community Council would like to acknowledge the land we're meeting on is their traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. And we're now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. I would also like to acknowledge we are covered by Treaty number 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississauga and Chippewa bands. If you're registered to speak at today's meeting, if you could please listen for me to call your name. I'll call speakers in the order that they appear on the list. The list of speakers can be viewed online by visiting the Toronto Community Council page at toronto.ca/council and clicking the speakers box at the top of the meeting for today's meeting. Members, just a reminder, the city clerk has provided all of the agenda material on the same portal, clerk's meeting portal at toronto.ca/council. Clerk's IT staff are here if you have any issues with your electronic devices. I also want to remind you, everyone, if they can please submit and approve their motions by email. Staff are available at scc@toronto.ca to help with your motions. At this point, I'm going to ask if there's any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Seeing none, can I have a motion to confirm the minutes from our last meeting on July 8th, 2025? Moved by Councillor Mantas. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. I'm now going to run through the agenda. So our first item is SC 25.1, 29 Birchmount Road and 3600 Finch Avenue East. This is a zoning bylaw amendment decision for final approval in Ward 22. Councillor Mantas. Oh, sorry, and we're holding that one for speakers. There's one registered speaker. Item number 2, SC 25.2, 126 Bellamy Road North zoning bylaw amendment decision report for final approval in Ward 21. Councillor Thompson.
May I hold that, Mr. Chair?
Councillor Thompson's holding number 2. Thank you. Item number 3, SC 25.3 city initiated zoning bylaw amendment reallocating section 37 funds within Ward 23. This is the decision report for final approval. Ward 23, Councillor Myers.
I'd like to hold this, please, Chair.
Councillor Myers is holding number 3. Thank you. Number 4, SC 25.4, 20 Robintide Court application to remove a private tree. We have one registered speaker on that, so I'm going to hold that. SC 25.5, assumption of services, register plan 66M-2378, Malvern, McLevin, Subdivision, Pinery Trail in Ward 23. Councillor Myers.
I'd like to move staff recommendations, please.
Councillor Myers is moving staff recommendations and number 5. All in favor? That carries. Number 6, SC 25.6, a proposed crosswalk marking policy and all-way stop sign control justification policy. I'm going to hold that for a staff presentation. SC 25.7, Malvern West Neighbourhood Streets Plan. This is in Ward 23. Councillor Myers.
I'd like to hold that and item 25.8, the related reports, and just ask for questions.
Okay, Councillor Myers is holding number 7 and number 8. Sorry, pages stuck together. There we go. Number 9, SC 25.9, Milner Avenue and Executive Court / Midtown Acres pedestrian crossing protection in Ward 23. Councillor Myers.
I'd like to hold that for an amendment. I will pre-circulate it.
Do you have a quick amendment you want to move now or?
If staff has it? Okay, yeah. So the amendment is that city council authorize the installation of traffic control signals at Milner Avenue and Executive Court / Mid Dominion Acres, and city council prohibit pedestrian crossings on Milner Avenue between the east curb line of Executive Court / Mid Dominion Acres and a point of 30.5 meters west of the west curb line of Executive Court / Mid Dominion Acres in conjunction with the installation of traffic control signals as set out in part 1 above.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Myers. Anybody have any questions of the mover? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment? All in favor of the item as amended?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, getting ahead of myself.
That's okay.
All in favor of the item as amended? That carries. SC 25.10 Slant Avenue Parking Amendments and a U-turn prohibition. That's my ward, and I believe we have a registered speaker, so I'm going to hold that. SC 25.11 Sheppard Avenue East at a point 130 meters east of Allanford Road, traffic control signals in Ward 22. Councilor Mansis.
I would like to move staff recommendations, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Mantis. Councilor Mantis moving the staff recommendations. All in favor? That carries. Our next item is SC 25.12 Ben Stanton Boulevard, traffic calming speed humps. Ward 24, that's mine. I'll move the recommendations. That carries. SC 25.13 Brooklawn Avenue, traffic calming speed humps in Ward 20. Councilor Candavel.
I'll move staff recommendations.
Councilor Candavel is moving staff recommendations. All in favor? That carries. SC 25.14 Confederation Drive between Scarborough Golf Club Road and Kirker Avenue, traffic calming speed humps in Ward 24, which is mine. I'm going to move the recommendations. On favor, that carries. SC 25.15 Dale Avenue, traffic calming speed humps. Ward 24, Scarborough Guildwood, which is my ward again. I'm going to move the staff recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.16 Danzig Streets, traffic calming speed humps. That's Ward 24 in my ward. I'm going to move the staff recommendations. All in favor, that carries. Next is SC 25.17 Farmbrook Road, traffic calming speed humps in Ward 24, Scarborough Guildwood. Once again, that's mine. I'm going to move the staff recommendation. Sorry. Is there a speaker? Thank you. My fault. Apologies. Thank you. SC 25.18 Grangeway Avenue, traffic calming speed humps. Once again, Ward 24, Scarborough Guildwood. I'm going to move the recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.19 Janray Drive, traffic calming speed humps, Ward 24, Scarborough Guildwood. I'm going to move the staff recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.20 Linton Avenue, traffic calming speed humps in Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councilor Candavel.
I'll move the recommendations.
Councilor Candavel is moving the recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.21 Nixon Heights, traffic calming speed humps, Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councilor Candavel.
I'll move staff recommendations.
Councilor Candavel is moving the staff recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.22 Sedgemount Drive, traffic calming speed humps in Ward 24, Scarborough Guildwood. I'm going to move the staff recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.23 Northview Avenue, accessible parking space in Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councilor Candavel.
I'll move the recommendations.
Councilor Candavel is moving the staff recommendations. All in favor, that carries. SC 25.24 Alex Muir Boulevard, parking amendments, Ward 23, Scarborough North. Councilor Myers.
I'd like to speak briefly, so I don't know if you can do that now or if I should just wait.
Okay, so I will hold number
Okay.
24 in Councilor Myers' name. Or did you want to speak briefly now?
It's like under 30 seconds.
Fire away.
Okay, thank you. Just want to say a big thank you to Principal Samler at Our Lady of Grace and Principal Fang at Alex Muir Junior Public School and the Parent Council at Our Lady of Grace. 42 division officers for their work on this. This is important as part of making Alex Muir Boulevard Park safer for pedestrians, particularly the students. This will create 8 more parking spots so that parents can access their kids or get to their kids safely without creating unsafe conditions for the rest of the community. So thank you to the Parent Council for bringing this attention to my matter and to my attention, this matter to my attention. And thank you to the principal of Our Lady of Grace and Alex Muir Junior Public School for their continued work to make the community safe.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Myers.
And I will move the staff recommendations.
Okay, Councillor Myers moving the staff recommendations. All in favor? That carries. SC 25.25, Appleworth Road, parking amendments in Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councillor Canavell.
I'll move the recommendations.
Councillor Canavell is moving the staff recommendations. And number 25, all in favor? That carries. SC 25.26, 781 Victoria Park Avenue, designation of fire routes and an amendment to chapter 880 for fire routes in Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councillor Canavell.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Councillor Canavell is moving the staff recommendations. All in favor? That carries. Next, we have SC 25.27, 1897 Eglinton Avenue East, designation of fire routes and an amendment to chapter 880 of fire routes. Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councillor Canavell.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
All in favor? That carries. Next is SC 25.28, 8450 Sheppard Avenue East, designation of fire routes and amendment to chapter 880 of fire routes. This is in Ward 25, Scarborough Rouge Park. I'm going to move the amendment or move the item. All in favor? That carries. SC 25.29, temporary closure of Dowry Street. This is in Ward 22, Scarborough Agent Court. There's a letter from Councillor Mantis with a recommendation. Councillor Mantis. We're on number 29.
I would like to remove the recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mantis. Councillor Mantis is moving. Yep. Sorry, Councillor Mantis, the clerk thinks you might have an amendment to the recommendation.
Yes, I would like to move the amendment first.
Okay.
Sorry.
Madam Clerk. Okay, so the amendment is on the screen before us. Any questions of the mover? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment? Councillor Mantis is moving the item as amended. All in favor? That carries. All right, we're just voting on the amendment. All in favor? That carries. Good, thank you. I need more coffee. SC 25.30, reopening of item SC 17.7 at 17 Bellhaven Crescent for a fence exemption. This is moved by Councillor Canavell. Councillor Canavell,
I'll move my motion.
all right, all in favor? That carries, so I'll hold that. Sorry, Councillor Canavell. We're all good? All right. If Tim Hortons is out there, I need a coffee. All in favor? That carries. SC 25.31 Kingston Road Community Safety Zone in Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. I do need a motion from Councillor Canavell that this is an item of new business.
I'd like to add this item as new business.
Thank you, Councillor Canavell. All in favor? That carries. So everybody want a few minutes to look it over? Nope. All right, Councillor Canavell, you're
Oh.
moving number 31.
Yeah, move.
All in favor? That carries. SC 25.32 Northview Avenue parking amendments. This is a new item of business in Ward 20, Scarborough Southwest. Councillor Canavell.
I'd like to add this item onto the agenda.
Okay, Councillor Canavell is moving a motion to add this item onto the agenda. All in favor? That carries. Everybody need a moment to, everybody good? Or is you have a quick question, Councillor Myers? All right, ask
Just
Fire
one,
away.
are there any TTC implications of this amendment?
No, no, there's
Okay.
no TDC road going through Northview.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. So SC 25.32 is on the floor. All in favor? And moved by Councillor Canavale. On favor, that carries. All right, we are going back to the beginning of the agenda. Our first item is SC 25.1, 2950 Birchmount Road and 3600 Finch Avenue East zoning bylaw amendment. This is a decision report for final approval in Ward 22, Scarborough Agent Court. We have one registered speaker, Mike Drawer of Bosefields Incorporated. Morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
You have 5 minutes to address Community Council whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. For the record, my name is Mike Drawer. I'm a planner and a partner at Bosefields Inc. My firm address is 3 Church Street, Suite 200. I'll be very brief today just to reiterate that we are fully in support of the recommendations from community planning to approve the application. I'll also note that we are fully in support of the draft and have thoroughly reviewed the draft zoning bylaw amendment prepared by community planning with our input, and we thank particularly Laura Daynard from community planning for the collaboration and the collaborative process to work with us to get to that bylaw to a place where we're all pleased with it and that supports the application. This has been a bit of a long process, but we're very happy that we have a great result here that results in a great addition to the neighborhood that includes not only new housing, but also new community uses on the site, as well as expanding the ravine lands to the rear around West Highland Creek, and also expands in the public realm along both Finch and Birchmount. So I'm going to end it there very quickly, and I'm happy to answer any questions from Community Council.
Thank you, sir. Any questions of the deputant? No. Sorry, Councillor Canavale?
Thank you. And, we see different forms of application come our way, and we notice different parking ratios, and you've got a very healthy one. And I wanted to get your context of why.
Through the chair, the parking has been carefully considered through deliberations between my client and their marketing needs they expect to have in the future, as well as consultations with their traffic engineer, BA Group, along with discussions with Transportation Review. It is a larger rate than we typically do see, but it is one that we felt was the right one for this particular site. I can assure the councillor that it would be possible to build, were it possible, to build less parking in the future when this site actually goes forward and proceeds through site plan approval. The applicant will make best efforts to reduce the parking as much as possible. Parking costs a lot to build, and the less we can build, the better. So that would be the intent, but that's currently the rate that's being proposed.
Thank you. That's refreshing to hear. And secondly, with your non-res GFA split between retail and office, just roughly the retail GFA, what percentage of the existing retail GFA is this number? 1,800 square meters?
Through the chair, the existing GFA on the site today is about 2,500 square meters. The proposed retail GFA is about 1,839 square meters precisely. And in addition to that, there is a second floor medical office being considered as well, which would be an additional 1,311 square meters.
So roughly 70% of the existing commercial GFA.
Through the chair would be actually an increase from about 2,500 today to a total of approximately 3,500.
Oh, including the GFA, yes.
Including the
Yeah.
medical office and
Yeah.
the retail.
Yeah, no, commendable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Canavale. Other questions of the deputant? Seeing none. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time this morning. We'll now move on to questions of staff. Questions of staff on this item? Seeing no questions of staff. Speakers on this item, Councillor Mantis, this is your ward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to commend the staff for the work that they've done. This application has taken quite a long time, since it was brought in during my predecessor's time in council. It's a project that has a different type of material that is being used in technology, and I commend the applicant for bringing new types of a new type of technology for building this project. So I'd like to thank everyone for their hard work, and I would like to move staff recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mantis. Councillor Mantis is moving staff recommendations for 25.1. Sorry. Okay. Councillor Canavelle, speakers.
Very quickly, I just want to commend both Councillor Mantis and staff for this. I think this is a wonderful example of a great balance between new housing, albeit market, with tremendous office and commercial GFA and a healthy parking ratio. So very impressive. I want to thank as an outsider to this, appreciate the great numbers on this proposal. Excellent work, Councillor Mantis.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Canavelle. So Councillor Mantis is moving the recommendations in SC 25.1. All in favor? That carries. Our next item of business is SC 25.4, 20 Robintide Court, application to remove a private tree in Ward 22, Scarborough Agent Court. We have one registered deputant, Ms. Nicole Corrado. Ms. Corrado here? She's not online. Maybe we'll hold this one down. Let's come back to it. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna hold number 4 down and we'll come back to it. Our next item of business after that is SC 25.10 Slant Avenue, parking amendments and U-turn prohibition. We have one registered speaker, Ms. Liz Landry. Ms. Landry here? Is Landry online? Nope. Okay. We'll hold this one down just in case. And then our last item with a registered speaker is SC 25.17 Farmbrook Road traffic calming humps. We have a registered speaker, Ms. Amna Chaudhry. Ms. Chaudhry here? She's online. Okay. Ms. Chaudhry, can you hear me?
Morning, just confirming you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome to Scarborough Community Council. You have 5 minutes to address Community Council. After you speak, we each have up to 5 minutes to ask you questions, and then we bring it back into Community Council where we ask questions of staff and then speak on the item. So you have 5 minutes to begin whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you. So good morning, everyone. My name is Amna Chaudhry and I live on 63 Farmbrook Road. We originally put in this speed hump request to express our concerns about the safety of the children and the neighborhood. So as you know, the street has both a JK to grade 8 school as well as a city playground, and many students walk alone at lunch or after school while residents are out walking daily. In addition, on the road, there are hidden trails along the north side of Farmbrook Road where many people often cross without realizing how fast cars are approaching. The curve heading south creates a dangerous blind spot, and when drivers are traveling 40 to 50 kilometers an hour instead of the posted 30 kilometers an hour, it only takes a couple of seconds for a serious accident to occur. I myself have witnessed many near misses, and even our local postman has flagged down cars asking them to slow down. So I think installing speed humps is a simple yet effective way to slow down traffic and protect our children, families, and the pedestrians before a preventable tragedy happens. Thank you for considering this request.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chaudhry. Any questions of the deputant? Seeing none. I just wanted to ask, how long have you lived in the neighborhood for?
I have lived here for 3 years.
Okay, and you've seen, I've had I've had numerous complaints about Farmbrook, so I don't think you're alone, but as you said, you've seen an increase in speeding in the area, particularly around the school.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time this morning. It's very much appreciated. And thank you for looking out for the neighborhood and the children as well. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you for letting me speak. Take care.
So we have the recommendations in front of us for SC. Sorry, anybody have any questions of staff? Seeing none. So we have the recommendations before us, which I'm going to move. All in favor? Thank you. And that carries. So that passes SC 25.17. We're now going to go to our next item of business, which is number 2, SC 25.2, 126 Bellamy Road North zoning bylaw amendment decision report for final approval in Ward 21, Scarborough Center. Councillor Thompson.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. I do have a few questions for staff. Through you, Mr. Chair, to staff. Can you just give me about a 30-second perspective on this application and its proceeding in terms of the report that's in front of us? Just a little bit of background about the area and the space that's being utilized.
Through the chair, I can begin. So the application proposes a modest infill development on a site with an existing apartment building. It's to the north of the existing building. Currently underutilized space, grass, a surface parking area. It'll be tied, the proposed 8-story building would be tied to the existing building through its underground. It'll use the existing ramp and provide a net new 187 rental units to the site. Through the application process, a new public park was secured on the north side of the street. Staff see this as a acceptable built form in that it provides a transition from larger, taller buildings to the south, including the existing building and newly approved buildings on the south side of Bellamy Road North, and of course, Eglinton Avenue East, where the GO station is, the Eglinton GO station, and future higher order transit along Eglinton.
Is it 184 or 187? Number of units?
I'm sorry, 184. 180 something.
Yeah, so there's no park in the vicinity at this moment, and we'll be getting a new park as a result of this development.
Through the chair, yes, in the range of about 700 square meters, which is a nicely sized park for a neighborhood use.
And can you tell me the sort of opportunity for the old building and the new building to be built in terms of the benefits to the residents? I believe there are 254 units in the old building at the moment. How will they benefit? And perhaps you could describe the role that staff has played in terms of the agreement that's in front of us?
Through the chair, my colleague, Ms. Barsoom and Mr. Ashby, along with housing staff, secured existing or improvements to the existing building. They're itemized, and I'm just looking up to the recommendation here, recommendation number 7. And it'll be secured where improvements to laundry, amenity space, et cetera, in the existing building will be provided, as well as access to any new kind of spaces that would be constructed with the new building. That would be a request of the chief planner to work with the executive director of development review to secure those matters through the site plan control process.
Right. And as part of that agreement, there is at least the confidence and the assurance that for the next 20 years, the current building will be fine. There'll be no intent and or actions to demolish, to change the landscape for the residents?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct. I think it's, I'm just looking through the report here. It's 7A.
Right.
So that also is part of the agreement where ensuring no demolition, but also condominium conversion or anything like that occurs with the existing building.
And that's good news considering what's actually happening to the south of that of 126. We dealt with this last month, but last time we met here.
Yes, through the chair, I think you know, all housing outcomes are good housing outcomes, but particularly for any number of reasons from an environmental perspective, you know, not having buildings removed for bigger buildings to be built and securing existing buildings at their tenure while getting, you know, modest improvements is always a good outcome. And these two buildings will work well together on site. They're properly separated, and the existing residents hopefully will enjoy some of the amenities provided in the building and get to meet their new neighbors.
And you were aware of the history with respect to the current building, some of the challenges that we've actually had at that location, and just in terms of upkeep, maintenance, the underground parking, the decaying of walls and so on. And as a result of this application, those modifications and changes, in addition to the work that my office has done at this location, will transform this building to ensure that it's actually going to be an appropriate place where people can enjoy and celebrate, in essence.
Through the chair, you're absolutely right, Councillor. There is a long list of deficiencies in the existing buildings, and here's an opportunity to make some improvements with that. And I think what's also key is the fact that the existing residents would benefit from the new amenity spaces being provided. They would have full access to that.
Thank you. Those are all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Other questions of staff on this item? No other questions of staff? Councillor Thompson, would you like to speak? Okay.
Can maybe just put the projector on.
So is there some IT staff that can help with the overhead?
Oh,
There we go.
press the button and
There we went.
it was on. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
It's the magic. You walk down halfway. It's great. Mr. Chair, and the members of Community Council and members at large, I really wanted to stand and thank the staff for the work that's been done. It's been detailed in the report itself, but I just wanted to show a few samples of pictures of some of the challenges that we've had over the years in the existing building, and just the lack of maintenance and the lack of upkeep and so on. Residents have met with me and in fact came to this particular building as well as meeting on site to look at the building. We've had to bring fire, we've had to bring MLS, we've had to bring the whole city crew in to get some changes and transformation to the building itself. These are just some of the samples of things that we've had to deal with in the building. Now, things have changed dramatically, and I'm very proud and happy about that for the residents and so on. But what I'm particularly happy about, though, is that our staff have taken it on to themselves and the responsibility to ensure that while the vacant site that's on this site is going to be utilized for further development, they have been able to get the applicant to agree to continuous maintenance and improvement to the current site. Now, it's an unfortunate situation that we've had to sort of come to this situation, but it's a good thing in that we're going to see a new park. We're going to see amenities that the residents at this location that will be able to benefit from because of the new development that's going to take place. And I think we ought to commend our staff for the foresight as well as the ability to negotiate something better. We've done this at Gilder as well, that development that's taking place. The laundry room that's going to, they'll have access to new and other amenities and facilities and so on. So I'm really excited with respect to this application and the development that will come. But more so, I'm excited because of the fact that the residents in this area were concerned that potentially a conversion could take place where they in fact would lose their home. There are 254 units now, and there'll be additional 184 units that will come forward, which is a great benefit. We know that this is in close proximity to the GO station, and so we see lots of development that's taking place and so on. So I'm really excited to see this application in front of us. I'm excited from the benefits that will occur to the overall community as well as to the residents at this particular building. So Mazel Tov. I want to thank the staff, Mr. Chair, for great work. So our planning staff are great professional people. Oftentimes, sometimes we have some conflicts with them, and so, but this is not one of those times, which is very few and far between that we have any conflicts with our staff. But I just wanted to really publicly thank them and thank their leadership, Mr. Ashby, Mr. Andreska, and others. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Any other speakers? Thank you. Any other speakers on this item? Seeing none, Councillor Thompson moving the recommendations. All in favor? That carries. Our next item is SC 25.3, City Initiated Zoning Bylaw Amendment, reallocating Section 37 funds within Ward 23. This is a decision report for final approval in Ward 23, Scarborough North. Councillor Myers, you held the item.
Yes.
Staff.
Yes, thank you, Chair, through you. So my first question is, I just want confirmation that all of the projects that were originally allocated the Section 37 funding have already been completed.
Through the chair, yes. They've either been completed or they have been, I think I'll use the word deferred or delayed to the point that these matters would be covered by a different funding source, either through capital or other funding sources.
Thank you. And also, just to confirmation, the reason that we're doing this amendment this way is because the original bylaw did not include language that allowed for the reallocation of these funds.
Through the chair, that's correct. That the clause is now a standard, well, when we had the old Section 37 regime, a standard clause to be included in bylaws as a result of an Auditor General's report.
Correct. Great. And final question, in the proposed bylaw amendment, it includes the language, let me just pull it up, at the end of every bylaw amendment, it says will benefit the community in the vicinity of the lands. Can you confirm that there's no geographic restriction on where the money is spent, so long as it's spent within Ward 23, that it doesn't have to be spent sort of within 100 meters or so of the where the funds were originally supposed to be spent?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there's no defined definition for proximity. We do anticipate that should there be reallocation to various facilities, we will consult with the ward councillor before it's being reallocated. But there should be a general relationship between the original site of where the development occurred and the capital facility and the benefit that's going to be given to.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Myers. Other questions of staff on number 3? Seeing none, speakers on this item, Councillor Myers.
Yes, just quickly would like to thank the staff, Henry Tang, and also my own staff, Darnell Harris, who have worked really hard on this and have gotten us to this point. The community already has a lot of ideas of how they would like to spend the money or like improvements they'd like to see. So I'd just like to thank everyone for their hard work in getting us to this point.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Myers. Councillor Myers moving the recommendations in number 3. All in favor? That carries. We are back at number 4, SC 25.4, 20 Robintide Court, application to remove a private tree. We did have one registered speaker, sorry, Ms. Nicole Corrado. She's online now. Okay, Ms. Corrado, can you hear us?
Is this about the trees?
Okay, good morning. Welcome to Scarborough
Yes.
Community Council. You have 5 minutes to address Community Council whenever you're ready. Then each of the councillors can ask you questions after that for up to 5 minutes. And then after that, we ask questions of staff on this item if we need to. So you have 5 minutes to speak whenever you're ready.
Okay, yes. I would like to voice opposition to this tree cutting. I don't think it's necessary at all. I think that the tree should absolutely be able to stay. I'm calling in from Beaconsfield, Quebec, but I used to live in Scarborough, and I lived 35 years of my life in Scarborough, and trees have always been very important to me. They're important to the animals, they're important to the environment. Can you still hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
loud and
yes,
clear.
that's the thing. I've always wanted this I'm like the Lorax. I keep speaking for the trees because nobody's speaking for them. The person thinks that the silver maple tree is going to fall. I think that's very strange because if the tree is healthy, the tree is not going to fall on their newly renovated home. It just I think a lot of these tree cutting proposals are based on people not understanding trees. I think we need to be educating people about trees the same way we humanely educate people about coyotes or any other wildlife that we coexist with. We need to be teaching people how to live with them, that we can live peacefully with them. This tree is healthy. Healthy silver maple tree will provide home for animals. It will provide shade for people and fresh air. They're a beautiful tree, and they also they're 125 centimeters in diameter. They're a big tree. Please protect the tree because I do not want this tree cut. They're absolutely beautiful. I've seen a picture of them. They're a beautiful tree with a lot of character. They look like they'd be a nice climbing tree. They're worried about some of the branches. They could trim the branches, and the trees, according to the picture, is nowhere near that renovation. Not even close to the renovation. Trees at the back of the garden and the far away from the building. I think these homeowners need to be educated about trees. I think it would be nice that just like you have coyote talks, I would love if the city of Toronto would give tree talks. I think you could do the same thing, have a tree coexistence committee that could educate people all about trees. Because these uninformed tree cutting proposals do not have to happen, and the city could save a lot of money by just simply educating people about the trees. That way people would not feel a need to be cutting them. Because this tree is healthy. And this tree will also, because they're a big adult tree, is also a parent tree feeding other trees in the area. So if you cut this tree, you're going to be affecting all kinds of other trees. And if you plant little trees, you're then just leaving little orphaned baby trees without a parent one. So that's not going to work. Scarborough is a natural area. It's near Rouge Park, and it needs to be preserved. Every single individual tree counts. You know that in Germany, I mean, this is off topic, but in Germany, each tree gets an email address, and people actually send emails to the tree. So I think even naming the trees, getting to know the trees as individuals, gets people to care about them, the entire environment. That's where it starts. So cutting this tree would send the wrong message to people, where saving this tree would send the right message to people, seeing them as individuals. And I refer to trees as who and they rather than it, because trees are individuals. Someone, not something. And I think people need to start thinking of trees that way. So please save this beautiful silver maple tree.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Corrado. Appreciate your time addressing the Scarborough Community Council this morning. Does anybody have any questions of the deputy? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Ms. Corrado. We appreciate your time. There's no questions for you this morning. Questions of staff on this item? No questions of staff. Speakers, Councillor Mantis?
Mr. Chair, I would like to thank the deputant. Like we understand about tree conservation and about protecting trees, but also increasing the canopy. For this specific tree, I have visited the site. I have spoken with the applicant, and the tree is the roots are very close to the new structure, and there is the fear of in the future of the roots going to the foundation. Now, I've spoken with the applicant. He is willing to plant 5 new trees or the cash in lieu, and I'm in agreement with him. And I would like to move the motion.
Okay, so Councillor Mantis is moving a motion to approve the request for a permit to remove 1 privately owned tree. Any questions of the mover? Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, what is the amount in cash in lieu? What's the amount?
Could we actually ask Councillor Thompson? Can we actually ask that to the director?
I'm not asking you, I'm just asking in general, so I don't
Oh,
know.
sorry.
If you have the answer, great, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Mantis.
From Urban Forestry, if there's a clarification for the amount of cash in lieu.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, can't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry, is that better?
Yeah,
Okay, so from Urban Forestry, for the question regarding cash in lieu payment, this
still
is,
can't hear you.
well,
Maybe bring it a little closer.
try it again. This is working now?
Yeah,
All right. For clarification from Urban Forestry, the cash in lieu payment is 583 per tree. So from Councillor Mantis, if they recommended 5 trees for replacement, that's 583 times 5.
right. Okay, got you. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Other questions of staff on this item? Sorry, can you just clarify, how big is the tree in diameter?
Through the chair, the tree is 125 centimeters in diameter.
125 centimeters in diameter. So the kind of the threshold for whether or not a tree would be before us is 30 centimeters in diameter, correct?
Through the chair, that is correct. 30 centimeters is the minimum protected bylaw size.
So the size of this tree is like 4 times the size of our minimum requirement.
Through the chair, that is correct.
Okay. And you consider it healthy?
Yes, based on staff reports, the tree is considered healthy. We have assessed minor, just very minor defects, but none that would structurally compromise the tree.
Okay. And do you have any idea life expectancy of a tree this big, this large, this old?
Through the chair, unfortunately, I do not have predicted life expectancy. It is a natural and living being. But given that it's currently healthy, we do expect it to have a relatively long life ahead of it.
Okay. And there is a comment about the trees impacting the foundations of a building?
So
A tree root would have to have a lot of force to impact the foundation of a building, wouldn't it?
through the
Like a
chair,
jackhammer?
through the chair, that is correct. It would be a significant force for it to impact foundations. So from our recommendations is generally if the foundation is compromised, then potentially roots may seek to, I guess, take advantage of those compromises. But if the foundation is in good order, there should be no issues from tree roots and foundations.
Okay, all right. And then my last question, just around compromise. So the reading that I've done, like roots, when they hit concrete, they push up against it and the concrete pushes back and the root goes off in another direction. But if there's an issue in the foundation, like a crack, and there's moisture coming through from inside, that's where a tree root will go to look for moisture, correct?
Through the chair, that is a potential. If there is, once again, if you mentioned a crack, there is a potential that the trees could exploit that. And that is what I mean by compromise of the foundation structure.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Councilor Myers, questions of staff?
Thank you. quick questions. How old is the tree? Do we know?
Through the chair, we do not have the data for how
Do
old.
we have a rough estimate?
And let's see, this is for a best guess through the chair. For a tree of this size and of this age, it would probably predate the age of the existing house that's currently on the lot,
So how long would that be roughly? 50
Mine.
plus years?
50 plus years.
And I understand the applicant is seeking the tree's removal due to its interference with its potential interference with the foundation in terms of an expansion of the house, correct?
From my understanding, they had noted that they were worried about the tree failure on top of the new build.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry. Through the chair, my understanding of the file is that the applicant was concerned about the tree failing onto the new build of the dwelling.
And it's just one tree we're talking about or several?
Through the chair, we're talking about one tree.
Yes. And regarding the remedial steps that will be taken, since this is a 50-year tree, could you just go into detail about what will be the remedial steps taken to, if the tree is removed, to provide additional coverage in the tree canopy? And is that adequate or equivalent?
So through the chair, if the tree were to be removed, then we'd recommend a minimum of 5 trees to be replaced, whether through planting and or cash in lieu.
Got it. Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry. The city's recommending 5 replacement trees?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah.
And just one final question, who will be responsible for the maintenance of those trees?
Let's see, through the chair, the maintenance of the tree will be falling onto the homeowner as they will be located on private property.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions, staff, on this item? Seeing none, so Councillor Mantza spoke. Other speakers on this item? Seeing no other speakers. So I'm going to speak last, I guess. So I appreciate the intent of Councillor Mantzas's motion. I appreciate what the property owner thinks they're going through. Our tree canopy bylaw, our forestry department, as I've said before, I think in this chamber, has a book that every tree counts as we're fighting climate change, trying to protect our key tree canopy through that. The neighborhood benefits that a tree of this size gives not only to the homeowner, but the neighborhood at large. A tree that's probably very high up on our list of trees the forestry department would consider for protection. 126 diameters in size, which is 4 times the minimum standard our forestry department looks at for protecting trees. So saying all of that, I can't support Councillor Mantzas's motion, and I'll be supporting the recommendation to deny the request. Thank you. Yep, so we're going to vote on Councillor Mantzas's motion first. All in favor? And that opposed? So that carries 4-1. So the tree removal request has been approved. Okay, our next item is SC 25.6, proposed crosswalk marking policy and an all-way stop sign control. Justification policy. Staff have a presentation for us.
Good morning.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, and the slides are up. Good morning. My name is Shada Sanenijad. I'm the manager of Vision Zero Projects and Transportation Services, and I'm here today to present for just under 10 minutes on an item you have in front of you on the proposed crosswalk marking policy and the always stop sign control justification policy. And we're here because in June of this year, we presented these two policies along with two other ones to City Council, and there we were directed to bring these two back and to each of the 4 community councils for consultation. And so we will be taking the two policies back to Infrastructure and Environment Committee later this year with any input that we receive from you and the other 3 community councils this round. In terms of the crosswalk marking policy, the purpose is to compile a singular document that takes in any existing policies that council has already approved that relates to the crosswalk markings, as well as embedding existing practices that we have and updating some of those practices. So I'll be going through those. Some of the basic components of existing transportation services practices is that crosswalk markings are installed every time we install a new stop controlled intersection, yield signs, pedestrian crossover, traffic signals, or school crossing guards. And that for full traffic signals and always stop controls, crosswalk markings are installed at all legs of the intersection. Thirdly, that while it is preferred that all controlled crossings are marked, it could be acceptable at locations with low volume and low speed that crosswalks aren't marked. And lastly, that uncontrolled crosswalks would not be marked. In terms of the zebra marking component of the policy, there's a zebra crosswalk marking policy that's already approved and was updated last in November of 2023 that states that zebra markings should be installed at all crosswalks on signalized intersections, pedestrian crossovers, stop controlled intersections that are within pedestrian safety corridors, school safety zones, and senior safety zones, and at supervised school crossing locations. And then lastly, any other locations where at the discretion of the General Manager of Transportation Services, we might identify that zebra markings are needed. Outside of that, all other crosswalks would receive the standard treatment, that is the 2 white lines that delineate the sides of a pedestrian crossing area. In reviewing our existing practices, we looked at our current practice when it comes to crosswalks at locations without sidewalks. So that's when you have a crosswalk, but you don't have sidewalks on either side for the crosswalks to lead to. And current practice is to not mark those crosswalks. What that has resulted in is that there are intersections where you expect pedestrians to be active and crossing, but we're not, and they have the right of way to do so, but we're not providing that additional level of safety by painting the crosswalks. So while we do our best to fill that network, to fill the missing sidewalks and complete that network of sidewalks across the city, there are many instances where doing that in a short term is not possible. There are instances where, due to various challenges, doing it even in the long term is quite challenging. So we acknowledge that the crosswalk markings bring an added safety benefit, regardless of presence of the sidewalk or not, given that people are already crossing. So what we are embedding into the proposed policy is to mark those crosswalks on a case-by-case basis as appropriate, and we investigated examples are, near schools where there's a lot of school children crossing anyways, regardless of presence of the sidewalk. The other piece which is related is painting crosswalk lines at locations where there are no ramps. So these are instances where there is sidewalks on either side, but there's no ramp, and that's common because we're typically adding a new always stop control, and that's when the presence of the ramp is needed. To date, we install the stop sign, but then wait for when we are able to add the crosswalk ramps before we paint the crosswalk. And what we have identified again is that the crosswalk marking is an important safety improvement that shouldn't have to wait for the ramp to come in. Staff have and continue to try and minimize the lag between when a stop is implemented following approval and when the ramps go in, but that what we're embedding into the proposed policy is that we don't have to wait for that ramp to go in. Typically that comes in about a year after, if not less. And then lastly, on the crosswalk marking policy, it is codifying a practice that we've started in 2021 already with regards to crosswalks leading to low volume driveways. And that is because that when we are aligning crosswalks, there may be instances where the alignment of the crosswalk is in conflict with a low volume driveway. And in practice, we do our best to avoid the driveway altogether by shifting the crosswalk, changing the angle of it. But there are instances where avoiding the driveway would result in crosswalk alignment that is significantly away from where you expect pedestrians to cross, and where we end up having pedestrians cross in one location and the crosswalk marking being in another location, which then defies the safety benefits that it would bring. So what we're recommending is, again, codifying that existing practice, which is to be able to, on a case-by-case basis, when all other options are explored, lead a crosswalk partly or fully into a driveway. That doesn't impact the use of the driveway in any way, and the maintenance of that crosswalk would be with the city. Lastly, the always stop sign control justification policy is being updated. The current policy states that there are 4 considerations when looking at always stop controls. The main 2 that everyone's familiar with is the history of collisions at a location and the traffic volumes, and we do counts for those. The other 2 are rarely used, but always stop controls could be used as an interim measure when a traffic signal is technically justified, but it can't be installed immediately. And secondly, when the right-of-way control of an intersection might be shifting from a 2-way in one direction to a 2-way in the perpendicular direction. So as a temporary measure, one could install an always stop control for a transition period. Again, this is rarely done. Typically, if we are changing it, we're going to an always stop as a permanent measure. And then lastly, in 2019, the policy was updated so that a factor of 2 is applied to all pedestrians counted for that traffic volume component of the investigation. And that's just to emphasize and prioritize pedestrians as a part of these investigations. What we are proposing as a part of this policy update is to add a consideration for always stops that is based on inadequate sightlines, and that is just to bring us in line with existing Ontario Traffic Manual Book 5 guidance on regulatory signs. And secondly, just to update the title of the policy so that it's consistent with the other policies that we've brought forth. And that is the end of my presentation. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions of staff on the presentation? Councillor Candeville?
Thank you, Chair, and through you, thank you for the presentation. Is it possible to get this, is this for internal use, or can it be shared with the public?
The presentation's online together with the item on the agenda.
Okay, terrific. So we can share that with our community and get
Absolutely.
feedback. Okay, thank you so much.
And I'll add that once these policies are approved, we'll be developing a guidelines for applications of these policies, which also will be open facing and public, and we'll be reaching out to councillors' offices to share that as well.
Okay, excellent. And in the meantime, until this comes back, is it still standard practice to work with transportation staff for crosswalk markings, requests, etc.?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Candeville. Questions of staff? Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. How is Vision Zero working?
Through the chair, Vision Zero, we have the budget of the program has been increasing every year, and now we're at a $99.1 million annual budget. Traffic fatalities and serious injuries have been going down. We obviously want them to go down much faster, and that is why every year we have complemented the program with additional measures and expanding those measures and accelerating the measures that we know are most effective. So we're headed in the right direction with all the tools that we have in the toolbox.
Major roadways such as Lawrence Avenue, for example, 7 lanes, where it is, I guess, desirable for many of the community to have lots of different stoplights at varying intervals and so on. Questions have been asked about potentially putting in area crosswalk as such. What's the current policy, both from the provincial perspective and the city's perspective? So, for example, we would create in the past those refuge areas where people would have a false sense of security that they were really safe when they're really not. And so are we doing those still, not doing them? And what's the perspective on that? If you can just give me a bit of an overview.
We're in fact in the process of reviewing all of our pedestrian refuge islands and the practice around that, acknowledging that there are locations in the city that would benefit from upgrading those pedestrian refuge islands to more protected versions, which is a traffic signal. And in parallel, we're working on proactively identifying locations along these types of arterials where traffic signals need to be added for the purpose of accommodating pedestrian crossings, whether it's because of a TTC stop or other reasons. So that's work that's ongoing, and we'll be coming back at various community councils with recommendations on upgrading those existing crossings and adding new ones. I think there's an item on today's council on one of them.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Other questions of staff? Seeing none. I just had one. So I'm just trying to understand. So I find it often when I have a stop signs or a crosswalk installed in my ward that I call it one-stop shopping. Like you put a crosswalk in and you make sure the adjacent. So what I'm finding, for example, I just had a crosswalk put in my ward. The crosswalk was put in. Then I had to remind staff that the lines needed repainting. The old lines weren't removed. The stop sign, the crosswalk was put in front of a school in a parking zone, and the parking zone regulations weren't changed at the same time as the crosswalk. So then I had to go back and remind staff that, you put a crosswalk in a parking area. And I'm just trying to understand why there isn't a better coordination between all the different levels or staff and transportation. So it's kind of like one-stop shopping. You do something and you figure out all the variables and get it done.
No, to the chair, absolutely. That the one-stop shop is the service that we strive for. I'm not familiar with the particular instance, but identifying those parking changes that need to happen as a part of a stop sign and implementation are all components of what we typically do and what we should be doing. If there are cases that come up, flag them for us, not just for that intersection, but as you say, to identify any systemic improvements we need to make on making sure we catch them on an ongoing basis.
So is there somebody in transportation services in East District, for example, that coordinates all of that when you put in a stop sign or a crosswalk? Or is there a team of people like citywide that review all the dynamics of that? I don't know who the right person is for that.
Through the chair. So yes, I'm with Inclement Traffic Operations, and we are generally the ones that are investigating and reporting on always stop control. So generally speaking, we are the ones doing the coordination with our signage team, signs and pavement markings, and with our contract design, delivery, and inspections team, who would do the civil work. Typically, curb depressions, tactile walking surface indicators are installed in conjunction with that. So generally speaking, we are the ones coordinating that, and we acknowledge the previous shortcomings. Again, I don't know the specifics of the location you're referencing. But yes, we should be your one-stop shop and primary point of contact for these concerns.
Okay, so when is that going to start? And I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but I also just in my ward, I just had stop signs, always stop sign put in at Poplar Road in Coronation, and the stop signs were put in, but the old line markings were not taken out. So, people are still getting used to stop signs being there, and they're following the old line markings.
Through the chair, absolutely. That was a bit of an unusual or one-off situation insofar as that there was a pedestrian crossover that was being decommissioned. So that didn't follow our normal process, and fully aware of those issues and working diligently with our staff to correct those deficiencies that, also putting the stop ahead and new starburst signs, those were also missing. So we're certainly aware of those deficiencies. I do apologize for that and the confusion that it has created in the community. As I said, it's an unusual situation, but certainly something that we will be working towards improving in the future.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, Councillor Thompson to speak. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
We're at speakers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I want to thank the staff for the presentation and, we've come a long way, and as we're hearing, we have a long way to go with respect to making our city safer and so on. The Vision Zero program, I first recall when it was introduced to me, it wasn't by a staff member, but it was by the late conversation I'm hearing up there, Mr. Chair. Maybe just ask them to. Okay, thank you. It was brought to my attention by the late Councillor Jay Robinson, and she was quite excited about the opportunity and so on. And I think she'd learned about what they were doing in Sweden in terms of how to protect communities and to ensure people were safe in traversing their communities and so on. As I said, we have come a long way. We have a long way to go. There is a level of, I guess I'll term it frustration by people who are operating vehicles in the city, where speed is central to, I guess, their movement. But we know that it creates an element of danger for everyone, even those that are speeding. The Vision Zero program has been designed to obviously address and help us. We have lots of amazing staff actually who are working to ensure that our requests on behalf of our respective communities and so on are actioned out and carried out in terms of putting in place whether or not it's stop signs or speed bumps and humps and other measures to ensure the overall safety. But I really wanted just today to really commend and thank obviously all the staff, but one person in particular I wanted just to loud out and sound out because she is absolutely amazing. And in her role as the liaison for a councillor's offices and to that of the community, it's Mary Newton. Mary has been just an amazing person in terms of responding to the issues, responding to the concern in a really delightful way. And no matter how much pressure that you put on her to kind of get it done, she is able to do it with a smile and so on, and just very clear to point out any challenges that we may face and so on. And I just had experience just about a week ago with Miss Newton, and she was absolutely amazing. In my area, Mr. Chair, I guess since 2001, residents have been asking for traffic calming on two streets specifically, Gooderham and Eleanor. And of course, as you know, our policies have changed with new sort of methods and innovation with respect to attempting to slow vehicle down and so on in order to make the area safer. Residents had expressed a desire to have speed humps in, and we went through the process, and in both those streets, neither have sidewalks. And so people are walking on the street and so on. But what makes matter worse is that at the end of both these two streets, there are 3 used car dealerships at the end. And we know what happens when people go to buy a car. They always want to test them. And we know what happens with respect to the testing. They want to see how fast the cars can go and so on. And of course, they are doing it in our local, on our local roadways. We have tried over the years to work with all 3 of the dealers to try to get them to get people test driving on, the highways and Lawrence Avenue and so on, but to no avail. And so finally, we were able to get the process of putting the speed humps in place. And prior to the actual humps being in, just the indentation and the markings and so on being put in place, we started to receive calls saying, we want them out, we don't want speed bumps, et cetera, et cetera. We want speed cameras, we want police officers. We know the shortcomings with respect to those 2 options, right? It's just not practical for us to do that. And I reached out to Mary and I said, look, Mary, would like to have a meeting again, not to suggest we're going to take them out, but to reinforce it and so on. And it was a bit too late because the markings had already been put in. The people were going to go and actually place the asphalt on to create this hump and so on. And Mary Newton was very clear. Councillor, here's what we're doing. Here's why we're not able to move it out and so on. And it was interesting because we were having a meeting on the 15th of September, a community meeting to deal with this issue. We had the meetings, and I will say that the meeting was such that 86% of the people on those two streets want the speed humps in place. 14% did not. Why? Because people have bigger houses and they're saying, well, you know, in front of my house, I don't want a speed hump. But the interesting thing is that it makes the area safe. And Mary was very helpful in terms of providing us with detailed information to help and guide us. And also Elena Cislina, the traffic engineering staff, she was absolutely amazing. She attended the meeting with us and so on. And I'm very happy that we are going to ensure that those speed humps are staying in place. But whenever we call Mary, we know that actions will be taken. And I'm always gratified that she is there helping all of us to make our community safer. So to you, thank you so much, and to your team. Just wanted to say thanks, Mr. Chair. Those are my comments.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Other speakers on this item? Seeing none. Can I have a motion to receive the report for information? Councillor Thompson, all in favor? That carries. Our next item is SC 25.7, Malvern West Neighborhood Streets Plan, Ward 23, Scarborough North, and held by Councillor Myers. And he also held SC 25.8, Washburn Way Traffic Safety Improvement, in two items to be dealt with together. Councillor Myers?
Yes.
Questions of staff, Councillor Myers?
Yes. Who's the staff member? Are they online?
I'm just sitting right behind you here, Councillor.
Okay. Hi. So the first question I have, so I noted in the study that there were, remember, 33 serious injuries and 5 collisions over a 12-year period in the study area. Do we know how many minor injuries that were there over this period? And do we have an idea as to how many just vehicle crashes happened in this time period?
Thank you for the question, Councillor. I don't have those statistics right in front of me, but I'm sure we can get them to you. If not here at this meeting, then afterward.
Okay.
But we do look at all collisions to understand patterns in the neighborhood, but with a specific focus on serious injuries and fatalities, especially those involving vulnerable road users, as is the focus of the plan.
Thank you. And just regarding the installation of the GSIs for the traffic and safety improvements, you and I have had multiple emails going back and forth regarding the use of temporary versus permanent infrastructure. Could you just explain some of the rationale for using temporary infrastructure, such as the white bollards, instead of more permanent infrastructure?
Absolutely. Thank you, Councillor. And I can acknowledge that there are other councillors here and in other wards that have had conversations with us about those white bollards. I know they're a feature that are across the city, and they attract attention across the city. So our general principle is that wherever possible, we want to alter the road in the material you're familiar with: concrete on the sidewalk, asphalt on the road. But there are places and there are instances where it will be a longer time before we're able to make those kind of permanent changes to a roadway. And we offer an interim solution of temporary materials, typically paint and bollards. It is also sometimes the case that we want to give the community a chance to try out that new configuration before we're making it permanent, especially in a case where we know there's a high degree of truck movement. So sometimes those are also experimental conditions, depending on the context. So because it is so context sensitive, what we try to do is work with each councillor on a site-by-site basis to explain, what is the change we're proposing, what is the material it'll be done with, and the kind of timelines between an interim and a permanent solution, and together make a decision on what's best in the community interest. So we continue to bring those forward on a location by location basis, but we do appreciate that there's a preference. I know this focus of this report was on the Malvern West community, and you've helped us understand that there's a preference in that community to avoid the use of temporary material wherever possible, and we'll strive to do that with you as we meet on those case-by-case basis.
Thank you. Do you know the average time between the time a white bollard is reported down and the time it takes to get staff to come out to the area and replace it? Do you have a rough estimate of how long that takes?
Thanks for the question, Councillor. I don't have that information with me here, but again, that's something that I could speak to our colleagues in the road operations department and let you know what their latest service standard is.
Thank you. Also, do you know the time frame between the installation of temporary or interim safety measures versus upgrading them to permanent safety measures?
Thank you for the question. This is a big motivator for why we like to discuss those on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes there's road work in the foreseeable future, and we can say with confidence when it's scheduled to be reconstructed. Other times it's not scheduled for reconstruction, and so we are endeavoring to do it as a separate and standalone project, or sometimes it's not scheduled for construction and we are waiting for it to become scheduled. So because there's these various factors that drive that timeline, we don't typically report an average, but we rather meet with you and discuss which case it is in the location that we're talking about, and what is the problem that the temporary solution would mitigate, and decide together that the compromises and trade-offs imply.
Thank you. Are there any additional staff resources being allocated to ensure that the white bollards are replaced promptly when they are hit down? Because this is one of the main complaints and pushbacks I have against the white bollards is they come down and they are not replaced for months, sometimes years. And the residents rightly complain that they create an additional safety hazard and that you're not out seeing the white bollards, but your car might drive over the infrastructure that was used to keep them in place, which might damage the car, damage the tires, and then cause some sort of accident. So are there any additional staff resources being put in place to ensure that when it is reported that these bollards go down, that they are replaced within a reasonable amount of time?
Thank you for highlighting those patterns, and our division has heard those concerns. We're so fortunate today that we have Jada Sanidajad here, the manager of the Vision Zero program, and she's offered to give a more fulsome response than I'd be able to. Thanks, Jada.
Thank you. Through the chair. Yes, acknowledging those challenges in the past, a recent change in practice within the division has been to bring the replacement component of these bollards in-house in our operations and maintenance section, which means that they can respond a lot faster and quicker. So installation of new bollards are still a contracted service, but maintenance is in-house, which means we have a supply of bollards in-house and can respond more quickly. So that's a recent change, and you will see the impacts of that in the coming years.
Thank you. And just to clarify, is there any service standard that we should be aware of for the time it should take to replace a white bollard?
I believe there is. I don't have the number of weeks in front of me right now, so we can get back to you on that.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Also, regarding the upgrade from temporary interim safety infrastructure to permanent infrastructure, just to confirm, is staff saying that if there is no road work that would be happening on a road for the foreseeable future, that temporary infrastructure could be there for however long it takes for the road to be upgraded? Or would staff proactively take the step to make the temporary road work permanent?
Through the chair, there are other mechanisms that we have to implement permanent civil work in the absence of planned road work in the area. There are limitations to that in terms of what types of intersections, whether they're signalized or not, the complexity of the work. And there's also a limited sort of capacity within that delivery mechanism. So there's an annual exercise that happens in looking at various projects waiting in the queue and their relative priority. But there are mechanisms to do.
Thank you. And final question, one of the minor concerns I've heard, just the general aesthetics of the temporary infrastructure, the concrete, the white bollards, and especially when they're down or not being properly maintained, they can make the neighborhood look shabby. What efforts are staff taking to just make, whether it's permanent, whether it's temporary, make the infrastructure enhance the beautification and aesthetics of the community rather than bringing it down.
Through the chair, certainly the improved maintenance of the bollards will help. But I understand that sometimes bollards themselves are deemed not aesthetically pleasing. We do look at other options like using planters or other materials, sometimes different paint colors in the sort of the new surface that is now shifted over to the pedestrian space. That has been explored in areas with BIAs, with using BIA colors. And then in terms of permanent improvements, exploring green infrastructure, which certainly then adds some complexity to any project, but is worthwhile exploring every time we look at these improvements.
Thank you. Can I ask just one question?
Okay.
Last
Yes. Question.
Thank you. Do staff have any objections with meeting with my office regularly so that as this plan is being approved, my office can give proper feedback based on the community consultations we've done, based on the community consultations you've done, to make sure that whatever is being installed, whether it's permanent or temporary, that it is serving the community and also making the community look good?
Through the chair, we were lucky to hear from Councillor Thompson about what a thorough job Mary Newton does as the Community Council and Issue Manager for the Transportation Services Division. So our typical practice is if we're looking for kind of routine updating and somebody to go around the division, shake the trees, and get the necessary information from us. Mary does a very good job of that. And if it is specific to a particular project, like in this case, the Malvern West Neighbourhood Streets Plan, you're also welcome to come straight to the project team who you've been working with on a project basis. So both options are available to you, and we all look forward to working with you to go into the implementation phase.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Myers. Other questions of staff on this item? Seeing none. Speakers on this item, Councillor Myers.
I have a quick motion just to add to the recommendations. I think there was one other additional one. So, okay. So this is the amended item that Scarborough Community Council requests the General Manager, Transportation Services to use yes, I see it. To use permanent materials where feasible in implementing the geometric safety improvements in the Malvern West Neighbourhood Streets Plan, and that Scarborough Community Council requests that transportation staff meet quarterly with the local councillor to provide project updates and discuss design options for the geometric safety improvements. I'd like to just thank staff for all of their hard work. I see Anna Kim in the audience. This has been I think we are one of the first communities to undergo this type of planning, and I think the results speak for themselves. The community responded very, very enthusiastically to the proposed changes. I think one of the most stunning facts that I learned during this process was that in the entire neighborhood of Malvern West, there was not a single speed hump. So this is something that was long overdue. This is something that residents have long complained about in terms of speeding. The numbers speak for themselves in terms of serious injuries and accidents. And I look forward to working with the staff and the community to further these important community initiatives. And I just want to say thank you, everyone. This was a lot of work, but I'm really glad that we got here.
Councillor Thompson, question of the mover.
Yeah, just a question, Councillor Myers, on your number 2. Maybe I'll just ask the staff to put it back up, please. Yeah, just on your number 2, in light of what has been indicated from the staff, you're asking community council to ask transportation staff to meet with you quarterly. I mean, you just have to make a call to staff to say, hey, I'd like to meet with you about a matter. I'm not sure why you're asking community council to direct staff to meet with you. Like you have as a councilor, you can ask staff to meet with you anytime.
Right. I thought about that, but I thought it would be easier just to have like a regular cadence so that it's not sort of an ad hoc process, because I might not be able to attend all of these meetings. So if we just have a standing meeting, we can always meet with them before or in between meetings, but just having a standing meeting to see how it's going, I thought would just be helpful and easier for my staff to manage.
Right. So obviously the issue here is not simply analogous to just your ward. I mean, it's an issue all wards, I guess, right? At the end of the day. So are you suggesting that this community council, I know you've got local councillor, which is singular, but are you suggesting that it's a thing that all of us should want to do? Because I just have some issues with this.
No, sorry, this is just specifically with respect to the Malvern West Neighborhood Streets Plan. So this is just for my area.
Fair enough. Okay, so maybe then in number 2.
We can amend that language to
Yeah,
just make that
so
clear.
it's
Yeah.
more specific. but-
No, that's fine. Thank you for that.
Great, thank you. Thank
So
you, Mr. Chair.
could we just amend that just to make it clear that we're only talking about the Malvern neighborhood? We can just maybe just add in the line. Yeah, please. Yeah. No, thank you.
Other questions of the mover? And Councillor Myers, I have a similar question to Councillor Thompson on that. Like, I don't understand why you just don't call staff and arrange the meetings, why you need a motion from us.
We just wanted to do a quarterly meeting. It's just, that's how we do it because it's just easier for us to manage because
But why don't you just call them? Why do you need a motion?
just to have a quarterly meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we could just do it, but just to have it in the calendar or just on the books so that we have a regular cadence of the meeting. That's
Okay,
it. Yeah.
I think staff are. Sorry? Yep. Okay, so we have the amendment before us. 1 and 2, Councillor Thompson asked if we could vote on them separately. Yep. Okay, so all in favor of number 1? That carries. And all in favor of number 2? Opposed? And that passes 3-2. You need item as amended? SC 25.7, Malvern West Neighborhood Streets Plan, all in favor? And that carries. And then SC 25.8, Washburn Way Traffic Safety Improvement, moved by Councillor Myers, all in favor? That carries. And then our last item is SC 25.10, Slan Avenue Parking Amendments and U-turn prohibition. I have 1 registered speaker. We'll try again, Ms. Liz Landry. Nope. Okay, so SC 25.10, Slan Avenue Parking Amendments and U-turn prohibition. It's in Ward 24, Scarborough, Guildwood. I'm going to move the recommendations. All in favor? That carries. That was our last item of business, I believe, except for bills. Councillor Cannabell, would you like to read the bills?
Bills 856, 858, Bill 881.
Your mic on?
For the September 18, 2025, meeting 25 of the Scarborough Community Council be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006.
All in favor? That carries unanimously. Councillor Myers.
That confirmatory bills to confirm the legislative proceedings of the Scarborough Community Council acting under delegated authority at meeting 25 on September 18th, 2025 be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006.
All in favor? That carries unanimously. And I believe that's motion to adjourn. All in favor? That carries. Thank you very much, everybody.